ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the best of ARCA. Tonight, it's the Marflex Systems 150 at the Shady Speedway. I'm Ray Dunlap. Ron Drager will be joining me on the broadcast tonight. And with me right now, the current points leader in ARCA, Andy Hillenberg. You have led the points since the very first race at Daytona, which you just happened to win.
Yeah, it's been a great year for us so far. Hopefully we can keep the ball rolling, Ray, and have a good night here. We qualified our usual 6th to 8th. We ended up 7th tonight, so hopefully we can get our usual finish up there in the top 4 or 5.
We're at the three-quarter point of the season right now. 15 races in the book, 5 to go. You've been on the point lead ever since, but you've had like 6 different race cars. What's the story with that?
Well, we just kind of take what works. A couple of the cars we actually borrowed. Kenny Schrader loaned me a car. Bob Dodder loaned us a car. We put together a couple of cars on our own, and we weren't really going to run all the races for the points, and a couple guys are trying to help us get, to finish out the year, and it's just kind of worked out that way. So it's been good for experience anyway.
You told me a big goal of yours was just to be able to compete for Rookie of the Year throughout the course of the season, and you've been up front in this championship fight, and we're getting close to the end. Can you hold on?
I hope so, but like I said, at the beginning of the year, the championship wasn't really on my mind. It's pretty neat to be a part of this points battle, and hopefully we can hang on, but if we don't, then we've had a great year. So I'm going to go out and do my best every race, and if we get that championship, we'll definitely take it and run.
Well, we'll keep our eye on you throughout the rest of the season. He's been on the point lead ever since Daytona, which he won. He also won at Flat Rock Speedway in the Miller Genuine Draft 150. We'll be back in just a moment, and Ron Drager will set the starting lineup in tonight's SK Tools Field Summary. And welcome to the Marflex Systems 150 at the Shady Speedway for the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series. We're in DeGraff, Ohio tonight, just the central western part of the state of Ohio, and we're ready to go 150 racing laps for the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series. And Ron, here's a look at the SK Tools starting lineup.
25 cars will take the green tonight. C.J. Baugh in Lambertville, Michigan, first ever start for him. Also in 24th, George Glick from Columbus, Ohio. It'll be the first ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series start for this driver. The 23rd qualifier, Bob Dodge from Dayton, Ohio, in the Numerics Unlimited Ford. Canadian Kurt Dickey will be 22nd in Barbara Gardner's Pontiac. And the 21st qualifier had a bad run in qualifying, Tim Steele.
Steele will not start the race tonight. Richard Houck will go off 20th. Mark Gibson in the Chrysler, number 7, 19th. Then it's Glenn Brewer from Columbus, Georgia, in the CSR Lewandowski entry. Donnie LeDuc in the Tech 3 Prototypes Oldsmobile. And Chet Blanton from Plainfield, Indiana, in the Sports Spectrum Chevrolet. That's number 00. Steele having motor trouble during his qualifying run, as you mentioned, and he will not start in tonight's race.
Mike Buckley will be 15th, the Ann Arbor, Michigan driver. Jody Guerra will drive Dan Faldorf's Just For You Tan and Fitness car. He's 14th qualifier. Bob Schacht in the Engineered Components Buick. He's on hand here tonight in the 13th qualifying position. Bob Hill and Larry Clements Chevrolet will be 12th. And the 11th qualifying position belongs to Perry Tripp, the Fredericktown, Missouri driver. WW Transport Motorcycle Stuff Oldsmobile under him.
Bob Schacht bringing out the Buick tonight instead of his Ford. Rick Shepard from Mount Clemens, Michigan will be driving for Roger Blackstock tonight. He'll start 10th. Marvin Smith, the veteran of this racetrack, in the Riverside Chevrolet will go 9th. Bill Whittemore in the Indiana Steel number 56 is 8th. Andy Hillenberg, we met him at the top of the show, the current point leader, in 7th. And Roger Blackstock tonight will be driving car number 52, which is entered from Ken Schrader Racing. Blackstock will carry number 52, with Shepard driving for him in car 12.
In the top 5 qualifiers, all earning bonus points in Talladega Pole Award qualifying, Harris Devane in C.L. Jones's Highland Timber Ford. 4th fastest, Eric Smith in Cleve Smith's Southtown Motorsports Ford. Then we have Frank Kimmel and Terry Shirley's Papa John's Pizza Oldsmobile. The outside pole qualifier, another fine run, Robbie Pyle from Columbus, Ohio, and Jerry Lawrence's Brandeberry Chrysler. And the pole sitter, Bobby Bowser, Springfield, Ohio, defending series champion, the Quality Farm and Fleet Ford, fielded by his father, former series champion Jack Bowser.
Well, the cars are rolling off now, and we'll be ready to go racing in just a couple of laps. This is the 5th time that Bobby Bowser has sat on the pole in 1995, and, that's really an incredible feat to get 5 poles throughout the season, but he's in line tonight for the AC Rapid Fire bonus money, which he won earlier this year at Killcare.
We looked back a little bit through the records to try to find the last time a driver in the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series had won 5 Talladega Pole Awards in any given season. The only guy to do it in the last 10 years has been Bob Keselowski. Did it twice in 1990, and he won 6 poles in 1992, and he's the active leading pole winner. So Bowser really tearing him up as far as pole qualifying this season.
With 5 of them this season, that's certainly a record for Bobby Bowser. Great-looking field of cars here on this brand-new racetrack of sorts. There's a new surface on the track.
Yes, absolutely brand new. Cars had never been on it. It was paved this week, just days ago. And earlier today, in the very heat of the afternoon, we experienced a little bit of problem with that pavement giving way. Of course, after that, the ARCA officials and the Shady Bowl track officials cooled the surface down with some water. Now you can see that it's nighttime. It's cooled off quite a bit. No problems since that point in time.
Well, the temperature's still right up there. We're in the mid-80s here at Shady Bowl Speedway in DeGraff, Ohio. Ready to go racing now as the lights are off of the Stapleton GMC pickup truck, which will be pacing the field tonight. Ray Dunlap and Ron Dreger bringing you the broadcast tonight. 25 cars ready to go racing, and we'll be underway in just about a half a lap. Bowser to the inside, and on the outside, Robbie Pyle, a driver who has some experience here at this track.
Robbie Pyle just 1 week ago tonight won an ARCA Pro 4 Series race, the ARCA Series for 4-cylinder cars, so he sure does know his way around this racetrack.
Only 3 drivers in the field tonight with experience on this track. Jody Guerra, Robbie Pyle, and the veteran Marvin Smith, who has won a track championship here in late models. And we're underway. The green flag is out, and Pyle gets a bad start on the outside.
Of course, Marvin Smith's experience here a long time ago. He was a champion here back in the mid-1970s. And really, do the guys have experience that are here or not? Because this is a brand new asphalt surface. These are 3,400-pound cars. These are Hoosier tires, so maybe not much of an advantage of having been here.
Yeah, and very little bit of practice this afternoon, as you said, with the heat of the day, the trouble for this brand new surface. And we got a spin over in turn 4, and that's car number 10, Glenn Brewer.
Brewer has looped the CSR Lewandowski construction car, and you can see the caution lights are out. Bobby Bowser brings the field back down to a slower pace. Still sitting there is Glenn Brewer, 1990 STP Presto and ARCA Rookie of the Year.
One of the trouble spots, Ron, on this racetrack in the heat of the day today was right as they leave turn number 3 and start into turn number 4, where some of that asphalt did break up. I'm just wondering if maybe that was Brewer's problem. Many of the cars getting their left side wheels off of the racetrack down there, because this track does go up and downhill a couple of places. It's a very unique configuration for a racetrack.
Yeah, that and the fact that the back end was all wrinkled up, possibly that had something to do with it.
Appears that he just spun there by himself with no help from any other driver as we take a look at our replay. And we should be ready to go back to racing now. Brewer has rejoined the field, and we'll see what the indication from the flagman is this time by.
We'll have a single file restart, that because there are no lapped cars on the speedway. Once that lapped cars become evident, they will come up and double up. Lapped cars on the inside, lead lap cars on the outside. But this will be a single file restart, and that'll really stretch things out.
Yeah, the back car is not that far away from the leader, Bobby Bowser, on a small racetrack like this. So the indication of 2 laps to go. We'll be back underway here in just a couple of laps. Bobby Bowser on the pole tonight. And we talked with Andy Hillenberg at the beginning of the show about his point season. Hillenberg not totally sure he was going to run every race, but they look like they're going to be able to make that now as we've passed the 3/4 point of the season. But the last 5 or 6 races, Bowser has done a good job of closing that point lead.
Well, the way he's been able to accomplish that has been by the virtue of his qualifying efforts. We've mentioned 5 poles this year. He's been a top 5 qualifier pretty much everywhere we've gone. Of course, he was on the outside pole at Pocono. Unbelievable, because he never does very well there. So I think Jack Bowser and crew chief Gary Bowser, Todd Bowser, those guys have looked at this and said, the only way we're going to get caught back up with those leaders, Schacht and Hillenberg, is to get the bonus points. The other way you get bonus points is by leading the race, and that's what Bobby's doing.
Yeah, he's doing that right now. The green flag is back out here at the Marflex Systems 150 under racing conditions again. A couple of cars going too wide there over in turn 2, but I think some of these drivers are going to try to sort this racetrack out a little bit because of the limited amount of practice.
See Bowser with Kimmel just behind him. Now Harris Devane maybe using the bumper a little bit there just to see what he can do. Of course, he's trying to find a way underneath Frank Kimmel's Papa John's Pizza Oldsmobile. The Highland Timber Ford, you see it just a little bit lower on the racetrack than the O2 car.
Devane qualified 5th for today's Marflex Systems 150. A great qualifying run for the youngster from Cuthbert, Georgia, in that battle with the STP Prestone rookies, including Dill Whittemore, Bob Dodds, and Andy Hillenberg. And Devane been doing a nice job the last 3 or 4 races of finishing in the top 10 also, which helped him accumulate points not only in the championship fight, but also for that STP and Prestone Rookie of the Year challenge.
Now we have Bob Dodds in the Numerics Unlimited car going a lap down. Bobby Bowser's Quality Farm and Fleet Ford kind of whizzed right by Bob Dodds there. You can see not a real good qualifying effort tonight for Bob Dodds. And this is his rookie season on the series, and we've got a problem, a car up high in the racetrack.
Yeah, there was a car in the fence there. I believe it's number 31. Yeah, Richard Houck has brushed the wall on the front stretch, and you notice now he's going off the racetrack here. That's the exit to the pit road. And Ron, you have to go uphill to get to the pit, so if you're not under power, that can be a real problem.
Yeah, this is one of those racetracks that not only does it have different turns, the apex of the turns are different each corner that we have, but also it's an up and down racetrack. And it's funny, as you saw the CTI graphics car going off the Speedway, the Oldsmobile driven by Rick Houck, he went up, then he went right downhill, and that's the way it is. If you make a pit stop tonight, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, you'll definitely be a lap down, but it appears the trouble for him is going to be more terminal than that as he has gone to the pit area. Here comes Frank Kimmel to make a challenge on Bobby Bowser. The Papa John's Pizza Oldsmobile now taking a look to the inside of Bowser. Bowser out front throughout every lap of this race so far, but Kimmel taking a look at him on the outside.
And now we've seen Harris Devane come back a little bit from the Papa John's Pizza car, and Andy Hillenberg is now pulled right up underneath, and there's a little bit of contact between those two. So people are starting to get this trait sorted out, and they're trying to pull forward and get past the guy ahead of them. Of course, it's not really a two-groove racetrack yet, so where are they going to go?
You're talking about Bowser accumulating points in qualifying. The top 5 drivers in each of the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series races get points for their qualifying position. And as Andy made mention in the Open tonight, he has been traditionally through this season a top 10 qualifier, but not necessarily a top 5, and so he is losing some points to Bowser there.
Yes, he is. It's one of those things that the Quality Farm and Fleet team now has been a champion in the 1992 season, ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series champion 1994, and they're not going to get into a panic. They were 7th position coming out of the first 3 races of the year, and if that was Andy Hillenberg, maybe he says, well, let's just forget it. I'm not going to be able to run those guys down. Not these guys. They've been through this championship point chase. They know what they need to do. They know how to get back in the hunt. Still got 5-6 races left in this season, so they're really where they want to be. They're back in the thrash with Bob Schacht and Andy Hillenberg. That's a good spot for this team to be.
Well, they're certainly in a good spot tonight here at the Shady Bowl Speedway, up front in the Quality Farm and Fleet Ford, and in front of really what you would call his hometown fans here in DeGraff, Ohio. A lot of people rooting for Bobby Bowser here and at Killcare Speedway, 2 of the short tracks we run in this series. Bowser out front now. Kimmel starting to close up again, but those 2 drivers have stretched it out on 3rd place Devane.
This is another really good, strong run for Frank Kimmel and Terry Shirley's car, the Papa John's Pizza Old. Frank Kimmel has run extremely well this year, and if there's ever been a guy that's been snake bit, that's Frank. Jeffersonville, Indiana driver, 2nd generation, ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series race winner. His father, Bill Kimmel, was a winner on this series. Just had a tough time this year, but look, another good, strong run, and he's certainly right there, able to take the lead, certainly if Bobby Bowser bobbles the car.
Kimmel picked up his first victory back last season at the Toledo Speedway, and they've been winless in 1995 with that new sponsorship from Papa John's Pizza. We see here Andy Hillenberg has made his way around Devane, taking over 3rd place.
Yes, he has, and that happened in the traffic. As you look back, it's getting too wide now. The lap cars to the bottom and the faster cars to the outside, so as the traffic picks up, we're going to see a little bit. Now, here comes Kimmel to the inside.
Yeah, Kimmel comes to the inside, but just as we make mention of Hillenberg, a problem with car number 11, the Fast Track Driving School Chevrolet, is sparking. It appears that a piece of suspension has broken off the right front wheel.
Yeah, you got to wonder if he's got has he got a tire down, or is that something dragging? Yeah, that looks like something dragging.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from that viewpoint. Looks like maybe the tire's still up there, but a lot of sparks coming from Hillenberg's car, and we're continuing under green flag racing, and I have to believe he's going to go to the pit area.
Oh, yeah, he's to the top side, and he's got to make his way off here. Now, it's killing him to do this because he knows he's going to lose valuable time on the speedway as the cars continue under green.
What a tough break for Hillenberg. Off to the pit area in the early stages of tonight's race here at Shady Bowl Speedway, and here comes Kimmel taking a look again to the outside of Bobby Bowser.
Tell you, Ray, if Hillenberg doesn't get out pretty quickly here, that could cost him the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series point lead. He's the leader coming into this event, but Bowser is saying bonus. Let's put him a lap down, 2, 3.
Yeah, they've definitely put him down 1 or 2 laps already, so we'll keep our eye on car number 11, see what happens with him. Right now, Kimmel putting some pressure on Bowser as they're about to approach some lap traffic coming out of turn 4, and a spin. Look out, that's Mark Gibson in car number 7, spins right in front of the leaders.
There he is in Charlie Newby's Atlas Copco Tools, Girton Trucking Chrysler. Mark Gibson sitting crossway on a racetrack. Got to have a caution here to get him back to safety.
And that's such a tough spot to be sitting there coming out of turn 4 because the drivers are going downhill and coming back uphill in turn number 4. And we're going to take a break from Shady Bowl back in just a moment. And welcome back to Shady Bowl. We take a look there at car number 11, Andy Hillenberg, back on the racetrack. But, Ron, I believe he lost about 4 laps while he was in the pits.
Yeah, scoring does indicate that unofficially he is 4 laps down. That's going to be a tough thing to do to make those laps up, but he's in the best position he could be to make one up here. If he can get the jump, and they probably took tires on if they were back there, if he can get the jump ahead of Bobby Bowser, maybe get a timely caution flag, he'd be able to actually make a lap up on the leader of the race and come back up to the tail of the field.
Still a few sparks coming out of the right side there. We'll see if we can get a report from the pit area as to what the problem was on Andy Hillenberg's car. Ready to go back to green right now in the Marflex Systems 150. And Bobby Bowser will be your leader. And the green flag is out. Here goes Bowser, but you're right. Hillenberg gets a nice jump to the inside.
Ray, he's still got a problem. He is still throwing some sparks from underneath the fast-track driving school Oldsmobile car number 11. Oh!
Big crash over in turn number 2. Roger Blackstock in car number 52 has slammed up against the wall with Robbie Pyle in car number 8. A couple of other cars involved there include Bob Hill in the 46, Perry Tripp, and Donnie LeDuc. So 5 cars taken out in this accident over in turn 2. But, well, most of the cars are moving. Here goes Blackstock.
Ray, somebody had a major problem, and I'm suspecting by the way they're sitting now that it was the 8 car, Robbie Pyle, Jerry Lawrence's car. A big, wide, maybe a 3-4 foot wide streak trailing that car heading up toward where it sits right now. You got to believe a bunch of fluid came from underneath that car.
Yeah, it's definitely oil, Ron. We can see now from the shot a lot of oil coming out from underneath that Mopar product, and boy, this is going to take a good bit of cleanup. Pyle's car hard into the wall there, and boy, what a disappointment for this team. They've had such great qualifying runs throughout the season, today on the outside pole.
Here's a guy who has not qualified out of the top 5, and he's not an ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series regular. And the red flag, it looks like,
Well,
right?
no, what that is, Ron, that is the pit open and close. They're not throwing the red flag for the field. What that lets the drivers tell whether the pit is open, and that's Richard Remley over there waving the green now to indicate to the drivers they can pit if they need to.
He looked so much like Henry Wetzel on the Flagstaff, could tell the difference. Robbie Pyle, the ARCA Pro 4 Series 3-time champion, leading the points currently. We mentioned 1 here just a week ago. He's won 40 races in the Pro 4 Series, and just driving on a part-time basis for Jerry Lawrence has done ever so well on this series. That's really a tough break outside pole sitter here tonight.
A big pile of oil underneath car number 8, the Brandenberry Chrysler, and we see some Speedy Dry going down there from the buggy here at Shady Bowl. We're under caution again, and we'll be right back. Don't go away. And welcome back to Shady Bowl. Hope you're enjoying these ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series races on the Prime Network. Today we're at DeGraff, Ohio, and tonight's race is being brought to you by Racing Radios from Diversified Electronics, the official communications of the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series.
Look at that pile of Speedy Dry, the absorball that's been put down on the Speedway here by the Shady Bowl track crew to try to absorb some of the oil that was put down from Robbie Pyle's Chrysler.
Yeah, major amount of fluid over there in turn number 2. As Robbie Pyle's car has gone to the pit area, the rest of the cars able to continue, Ron, but many of them going a lap down, including Bob Hill there and Donnie LeDuc. So you see those drivers to the inside now as we're about ready to go back to racing. Bobby Bowser continues to lead. He's on the outside. And look at this Riverside Chevrolet. What a beautiful car they've put together for Marvin Smith to drive.
That is a nice-looking car. Carl Smith, the crew chief, Jim Coyle, the car owner, and that orange car number 1 Riverside car has won 4 ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series championships, 2 of them with Marvin driving in the 70s, 2 of them with Lee Raymond driving in the 80s.
Back to green flag racing, and Bowser gets the quick jump on Marvin Smith there, and these drivers are going to have to tiptoe through that corner of there. Harris Devane slides awfully high there, maybe a little bit of oil still over in turn number 2. You need to take the low way around that corner.
Marvin Smith, you see him move back past Bobby Bowser. That puts him back on the lead lap, at least for this moment in time. Significantly, we had talked about Andy Hillenberg, who restarted right where Marvin did. He did actually pick another lap back up. And right there in the corner of the screen, you could see still sparks coming from under the Fast Track Driving School Olds. That's the black and white car number 11.
Well, the indication from the pit area we're getting, Ron, is that they had a tie rod broke up there, and that very well may be a big problem for Andy, and it continues to spark significantly.
Yeah, we saw Frank Kimmel make a nice move to dive underneath Donnie LeDuc there just a moment ago coming out of turn 3, so Kimmel continues to pick up positions, running very well here tonight, hovering right around the leader Bobby Bowser all night long so far as Frank Kimmel.
Harris Devane slid backwards a bit there after we got the restart. Rick Shepard moves around him in the Shepard Motor Sales entry, car number 12. He's driving for Blackstock tonight. And there goes Dill Whittemore past us, and Harris Devane, also Perry Tripp, who was involved in that accident.
28-year-old Bobby Bowser out in front again. This is the 9th or 10th different race he's led so far this season, Ray. He's really been very active in terms of moving to the front and leading races. And again, bonus points go right along with that.
When we look at the total laps led throughout the season, Ron, he is hovering right around the 500 laps led mark, and the next nearest driver is Mike Wallace, who has 150. So a lot of drivers leading a few laps throughout the season, but Bowser has been up front an awful lot, especially on these short tracks.
This is a track, believe it or not, that even though it's less than an hour from his home, Bobby Bowser has never driven at Shady Bowl Speedway. Now, his father, Jack Bowser, started his career. This is the first track Jack ever drove at. That was back in the very early 1950s. Bobby Bowser, the reason he's never driven here is because he's never driven anything other than an ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series stock car. Only kind of race car he's ever driven.
Incredible, and he's picked up 2 championships along the way. And, of course, he's got a pretty nice lineage to come from there, as Jack Bowser picked up 3 of them in the early 60s. 1963, 4, and 5, ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde champion is his father and owner of the race car.
Bowser has 13 career victories to date. Has done extremely well. 1988 was the first race that he ran. He ran half a season that year. And you see the sparks continuing to come from Hillenberg's car, but really, Ray, other than the damage it's doing to that race car itself, doesn't seem to be a problem for the racetrack or any of the other drivers.
I'm sure they're keeping an eye on him up there in the tower. Here goes to the inside, number 33, Harris Devane, making a move on Blackstock there. And Roger Blackstock has just had a really great season this year.
Roger Blackstock, his own Pontiac, he owns that car along with his brother Michael, but Roger is really the mainstay. He's been on this series since 1986. He's from the Mount Clemens, Michigan area. Had his best career finish a couple of weeks ago of 4th at Killcare Speedway. He came back the very next night and finished 3rd at Flat Rock Speedway. So a couple of excellent runs for Roger Blackstock leading into this Shady Bowl Speedway race.
Now you see the Riverside Chevrolet is out front of Bowser. As you said, he is back on the lead lap, but he's at the very tail of that. So Marvin Smith needs to try to stay out in front of the 21 car in case if another caution would come out, he would circle back around and be at the tail end of the lead lap. So Marvin doing a nice job of staying up front ahead of Bowser there. We see the 00 car of Chet Blanton moving to the outside. He's a bit slower as the leaders go by him.
And that's Keith Wimberly's Sports Spectrum Magazine Chevrolet, and Chet is off the pace from what we normally see him. He's usually a lead lap car, good runner. A little bit off the pace here tonight. There's Barbara Gardner's Pontiac, Kurt Dickey behind the wheel in car number 62, the white car. Frank Kimmel not letting Bobby Bowser get away from him at all. In fact, he's moved his way back up through the field here to come right up to 2nd position. He had dropped back a few spots, but now he's right back on Bowser's tail. Quality Farm and Fleet Ford, car number 21 is your leader. Car number 02, the Papa John's Pizza Olds, that's Frank Kimmel. He runs 2nd. And the orange car, car number 1, Riverside Auto Parts Chevrolet Marvin Smith, he's a lap down, but actually still on the lead lap because he's ahead of the leader on the racetrack.
Bowser leading here at Shady Bowl with Kimmel in 2nd. One of the loosest cars in practice all day was number 62, driven by Kurt Dickey. He has had a tough time getting a handle on this racetrack. We see the leaders going by, putting him a lap down right now. Bobby Bowser, Ron, throughout the years in competition in this series, really has been one of the drivers that continually leads and finishes in the top 5 at just about any racetrack we go to. And this configuration of this track, although it is very tricky, it's similar to Killcare Speedway, where he's won a lot of races.
Yeah, for lack of a more technical term, Bobby seems to excel at the herky-jerky racetracks, a Killcare Speedway or a Shady Bowl Speedway, where The car is has to flow around the racetrack, and it seems like a lot of other drivers are not able to find that smooth line around, but these guys are masters at finding exactly where they want to be on the racetrack at all times, and the car just kind of glides around.
Well, they certainly had a good qualifying run, setting on the pole today for the 5th time in 1995, and that puts him in line for the AC Rapid Fire bonus. If he's able to win this race tonight from the pole, he could pick up a $1,000 bonus from AC Rapid Fire spark plugs. And right now, Marvin Smith continuing to stay out in front of Bobby Bowser, as he is your leader here in the Marflex Systems 150 at Shady Bowl.
You know, Ray, you mentioned the quality Farm and Fleet Ford is accustomed to finishing in the top 5. Just to throw a couple of numbers at you, in just a little over 130 starts, that car has finished in the top 5 60 times. That's almost half the time that car is finished in the top 5, and that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, that's a great statistic, especially the way the competition has been over the course of the last 4 or 5 years here in this ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series. Continuing to run laps here at the Shady Bowl Speedway, the first time ever for this series at this particular racetrack with a brand new surface on the track, and there goes Bob Dodds in the Numerics Unlimited entry number 09. He's down 1 more lap.
And moving up now, Ray, on the Auto Value halfway leader point. The leader of the race at the halfway point will receive $500 from Auto Value parts stores. You see that decal on the windshield of the race cars. And so far, all Bobby Bowser looks like he's a cinch to pick that forward up.
Yeah, a couple of big bonuses in line for the... Well, look out, Papa John's Pizza entry. Frank Kimmel is in the wall in turn number 4 in 02. Boy, what a tough break for Terry Shirley's car. Here he comes off of the wall. Turn number 4 is where the accident happened there. And, oh boy, a lot of damage to the front of that race car.
Snake bit for Frank Kimmel this year. 1995, what a tough year. Guy's running second. Looked like the only guy to come up on the back bumper of Bobby Bowser and give him a little bit of pressure.
Frank Kimmel hard into turn 4 wall, and that damage to that race car will take them quite a bit to fix if they're able to get back into this one. So, boy, what another tough break for Jeffersonville, Indiana's Frank Kimmel. And last year, he finished second in the points to Bowser.
Oh, that he did, Ray. Championship runner-up, the defending in 1992 SDP Presto and ARCA Rookie of the Year. His performances on the series have been great. Just a tough break for him to see that happen to him here at this point at Shady Bowl. Looked like the only guy able to come up behind and run with Bobby Bowser.
So Kimmel had a strong run going, but it's ended temporarily, at least, here at Shady Bowl. We'll be back with the rest of the Marflex Systems 150 in just a moment. Welcome back to Shady Bowl. The green flag is flying right now for Bobby Bowser, the leader of the Marflex Systems 150. We just came back from caution after Frank Kimmel's Papa John's Pizza Oldsmobile contacted the wall in turn number 4. And here comes Harris Devane. He makes a move on Bowser, puts that right front fender right up on Bobby Bowser's left rear, and he got him sideways a little bit, but Bowser was able to save it. Harris Devane having an excellent run tonight in C.L. Jones Highland Timber Ford, currently running in second.
Harris Devane, one of just a handful of cars now remaining on the lead lap. And we should mention, Ray, this asphalt is really holding up well as this race wears on. We're now got better than 80 laps under us, better than halfway through the event. And everything's just holding up extremely well. We mentioned the cars that are on the lead lap: Bobby Bowser, Harris Devane, Roger Blackstock, not on the lead lap. You saw him get caught up in the accident. Rick Shepard driving his car tonight. Harris Devane, Bob Shack, Eric Smith, Jody Guerra, and Mike Buckley. Now, we expected that from Jody Guerra. He's got experience here at Kilcare.
Mike Buckley having a pretty good run tonight in his race car. Good qualifying effort for the driver from Ann Arbor, Michigan. He started 15th tonight, and he's currently running in top 10. Look out, Jody Guerra up into the wall, number 13. That's turn number 2, and you know what? I think Ronnie just got up a little too high and into that speedy dry that's left over from that earlier accident.
There is a good bit of speedy dry over there, and you saw the right rear of the car get clear up on top of the wall and then drop back down. Let's hope there's no suspension damage or something that would force him to drop off the pace. He's still on the lead lap, having a good run here tonight. 1 lap down is Donnie LeDuc, Roger Blackstock, Chet Blanton, and Perry Tripp, and then 2 laps down, Kurt Dickey, Marvin Smith, Bob Hill, and Andy Hillenberg. He was 4 laps down early, made 2 of those back up.
Yeah, Hillenberg has moved back up a couple of laps, and the report from the pit area, Frank Kimmel's day is over. Suspension damage there to the right front of the Papa John's Pizza Oldsmobile, so Kimmel is out, and that's going to hurt him significantly in this championship points race. Bob Shack still on the racetrack, continuing to run, and Andy Hillenberg and Bobby Bowser.
Yeah, Bob Shack very much still in this, a lead lap car as we approach the 100th lap of 150 in the Marflex Systems 150 at Shady Bowl Speedway. And Bob Shack having a good run. These are not Bob Shack's best racetracks, and he'll tell you that right up front. He says, I've got to struggle through the Flat Rocks and the Kilcares and the Shady Bowls to get to the places I'm good at, the super speedways.
On the racetrack, Ron, right there, number 62, we saw him out of control. That's Kurt Dickey. Has a right rear tire flat, and he just about looped it right in front of the leader, Bobby Bowser. Had to have been an anxious moment for Bobby.
You actually saw Harris Devane put his left front tire down off the pavement and into the dirt to avoid that car.
Yeah, Kurt Dickey now on his way to the pit area there with a right rear tire flat. Bowser continuing to make his laps around some of the drivers here in traffic. Chet Blanton in danger of going another lap down there in double zero. That's a very odd situation for us to see Chet Blanton not continuing to stay on the lead lap. Now he'll be 2 laps down.
We were talking about Bob Shack, and this is not one of his best racetracks, and he knows that, but the key to being in this points chase for the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series Championship is to be able to come to a track that's not your best track, that your car is not best suited to, and come out of there with a lead lap finish, top 5, top 10 finish. That's exactly what Bob is doing tonight, and that's going to be the key to success over the course of this series. The guys that you see who are in the top of the points chase, and that's Bowser and Hillenberg and Shack, look at how many top 5 finishes they have, and that's the reason you see them up at the top of the points.
Well, consistency is certainly the key there. Talking with Shack before the race, when they pulled the trailer in here, they unloaded the Buick, which is a race car that has been through the trenches, we might say. And he said, look, I've never raced here at Shady Bowl, and I've heard that it's a tough race track to... Oh, in the wall is Kurt Dickey. It just came out of the pit area there, and the number 62 car has crashed back to Shady Bowl in just a moment. Welcome back to Western Ohio's Shady Bowl Speedway for tonight's ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series 150, being brought to you by Gatorade. Gatorade for that deep-down-bodied thirst. White flag in the air from Henry Wetzel, the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series flagman. A couple of cars out there with some significant body damage there, Ron. A few of them getting into the wall. And Kurt Dickey just got into the wall there. He had just come out of the pit area and run 1 or 2 laps before he slammed into turn number 4. So Dickey now out of the race in car number 62.
Take a look at the restart now. Harris Devane in the red and white car number 33. Look how close he is to Bobby Bowser, the leader of the race, here in the outside lane.
Yeah, just about lifted him up on the backstretch there. Bowser underway as we get back to green flag racing. Harris Devane running in second place there, and to the outside, look at that, Andy Hillenberg continuing to close up on those guys as he's now just 2 laps down to the leader, Bowser.
You know, everybody's a rookie here at this racetrack, having not had an ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series race at Shady Bowl previously. But this is a pretty good effort for Harris Devane. Guy's never run this series before, never run these kinds of race cars in a full long run at the championship. And he's in the top 5 in the points, and here tonight he's pressuring Bobby Bowser for the win.
Yeah, good run for Devane from Cuthbert, Georgia, a peanut farmer by trade, and now racing for his father-in-law, C.L. Jones, in car number 33. Great-looking race car. They bring good equipment each and every week. He's had a couple of tough breaks throughout the season, but tonight he's got a good run. And I'll tell you what, this kid just about won Talladega, the second race of the season. He was right out front and really showed their super speedway prowess.
Bob Hill and Perry Tripp go to the inside of Chet Blanton, and following them, Eric Smith and Bob Shack. 2 lead lap cars are Smith and Shack. Of course, Eric Smith from Bloomington, Illinois, came into this 1995 season with only 5 top 5 finishes in his career, and he won twice. He won at Kilcare and at Owasso.
Smith has certainly put together a nice program for 1995. Bobby Bowser out front in the Quality Farm and Fleet Ford, and now he has started to stretch it out a little bit on Harris Devane there in car number 33. You know, Ron, we were talking about that super speedway run at Talladega. What a great car they brought there, and if it hadn't run out of gas, he'd have beat Mike Wallace in that race.
Yeah, that was the car that they brought to Talladega was a combination of a Junior Johnson and a Bill Elliott motor chassis combination, something that they had picked up equipment from both of those teams, had a stellar run going. Oftentimes the winner of the race kind of feels like, well, they had the race in hand all day and it was just going to come to them anyway. Mike Wallace was very upfront in his victory lane interview at Talladega. He says, look, after his Food World 500K win, if he hadn't run out of gas, there was no way I was going to beat him. We'd had a rookie in victory lane at Talladega.
Whenever you can go to a racetrack like Talladega and beat a driver like Mike Wallace with the kind of equipment he has, it shows you've got a good program. Here goes Devane to the outside of some lap cars. He has now lost a little bit of ground on the leader, Bobby Bowser. Bowser racing the car number 21 there, coming out of turn number 2, and he's got clear sailing in front of him, not much traffic for him to worry about as the leader.
Right behind Harris Devane is the black and white car number 11, the Fast Track Driving School Oldsmobile of Andy Hillenberg. Now, we mentioned that Andy went 4 laps down trying to repair the problems he had with the tire and wheel. Here's Donnie LeDuc in the Tech 3 Prototypes Old. Tough break for him. He's only 1 lap down at this point, running 9th on the racetrack, and he's into the pits. Hillenberg's car continued to spark from the right front suspension area. They've looked at that car back in the pits. His team, as have the ARC officials, determined this is not a hazard to anybody, but it sure looked kind of spectacular. He's closed right up to the rear of our second-place car, Harris Devane. So Andy Hillenberg running 11th on the Speedway. He is 2 laps down.
We just have to watch that car and make sure that those problems don't develop any further for Andy Hillenberg. Here's Mike Buckley about to go down a lap in car number 48. A great run so far tonight from Mike Buckley. Good qualifying effort, starting 15th tonight in the ETS car number 48 from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Now Bowser makes his way around him.
Bobby Bowser put... Oh, and we got trouble in the front stretch.
Big crash with Roger Blackstock in car number 52 there, driving for Kenny Schrader. Blackstock hard into the wall in another race car. Oh, look, there's Bob Schacht.
Boy, oh boy, that's a tough break for the Engineered Components driver, Chapin, South Carolina driver Bob Schacht. We mentioned he needed to stay on the lead lap, needed to get a good run. He was doing exactly that, and now he's in the fence in the front stretch.
Well, Blackstock's car is moving there, but it appears the damage to Schacht's car may be terminal. He really hit the front stretch wall a good bit. Well, Roger's having trouble getting started again there. Hard to tell exactly what happened. Schacht's left rear tire is down in our replay here, but Blackstock into the wall pretty hard there.
Right below the flag stand, right in front. Boy, the front stretch grandstand folks got an excellent view of that one. There's Bob Schacht. He's out of the car. Schacht, originally from Chicago, Illinois, the truest of veterans, started his racing career in the late 60s, in the hunt for the championship this year, and this really hurts to not be able to finish a race where you know you'd have run up on the top end of the race at the finish at a place that you didn't really expect to. That's a real disappointment for Bob Schacht.
Yeah, and we're 130 laps into the race here, too, and that's a bad time for that to happen. Schacht's car being pulled off by the wrecker crew there, and a good bit of damage to the right side of the Engineered Components Buick. Roger Blackstock's car has stopped over there, and it appears they've got it hooked up with the wrecker also. Going to try to get him out to the pit area. There's a lot of damage to the left suspension, so it looks like Blackstock may be out as well as Bob Schacht.
A couple of guys that were having an excellent run here at Shady Bowl. Blackstock coming off the best finishes of his ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Series career. Schacht right in the thick of the championship points chase, so that's a pretty significant couple of guys to fall out.
So Kenny Schrader's car owner championship points will be dwindling a bit as Roger Blackstock now out at the 3/4 mark of tonight's race. Andy Hillenberg to the inside with Mike Buckley in car number 48. We see, look here, 3rd place run is Rick Shepard in car number 12. Ironically, Blackstock is out in 52, but he'll be accruing owner points because Shepard's doing a nice job. He's in the top 5.
That he is. Rick Shepard driving the car number 12, and that's Roger Blackstock, the registered car owner. All the lead lap cars to the outside. ARCA President Bob Logo always covers this in the drivers' meeting before the race. It's called the 25-lap rule. We now have less than 25 laps remaining in this 150-lap race. And look at Harris Devane right up on the back bumper of Bobby Bowser again for this restart. As we mentioned that, everybody in the outside line is a lead lap car. So let's watch them as they come back down for the restart. Run them down for you quickly. It's Bowser, Dill Whittemore, Harris Devane, Rick Shepard, Eric Smith, and Jody Guerra. All those still lead lap cars, top 7 runners here at the late stages of the Marflex Systems 150.
I really like that 25-lap rule because it gives the drivers on the lead lap the chance to go racing. Even though they start to the outside, a lot of times you'll have 10 or 12 cars a lap down to the inside, and that gives these drivers a chance to go race for it. Coming down the back straightaway there includes Jody Guerra and also Chet Blanton in 00. Bowser now with about a 2-car length lead over Mike Buckley. Buckley to the outside, he is a lap down, and hopefully he'll get out of the way there and let some of these drivers go after him. Rick Shepard and Harris Devane trying to chase him down. Here goes Hillenberg taking a look to the inside.
Bad restart for Harris Devane. In fact, Rick Shepard took second position over. Now you see Andy Hillenberg, the lapped car, continuing to weave his way back up toward the leader of the race, Bobby Bowser. So Hillenberg's still pretty strong.
Oh, big crash on the front straightaway here. Look out, 4 cars, 5 cars in front. Look out, Jody Guerra slams into Dill Whittemore in number 56. We see Mike Buckley, who was a lapped car there, is to the infield, and lots of cars taking evasive action. Andy Hillenberg went flying by Bowser at the start-finish line to get another one of those laps back, and a lot of cars involved in this one.
Where they're stacked up the front stretch is not where you want to be at this racetrack, is it, Ray?
Now, Rick Shepard moves to the inside there, trying to take that position as Mike Buckley, a lapped car, to the outside. That spins Dill Whittemore to the inside, as well as Harris Devane. Those two drivers head for the grass area. It looked like Whittemore might have had it straightened out.
3 lead lap cars involved in the initial stages of this incident. Now we have Perry Tripp just ahead of that, slowing down. Jody Guerra can't get stopped, and he nails Dill Whittemore, as does Perry Tripp. So Dill Whittemore, sitting right on the start-finish line, gets hit by a couple of cars.
Whittemore about had it straightened out, but brought his car back up onto the track, and significant damage to both his car and number 13, the J.D. Dankin Pontiac of Jody Guerra. We'll be back to Shady Bowl in just a moment.
ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series action from Shady Bowl Speedway in Ohio. Ray, you got to have a guide to get to this racetrack because a map won't get you there. The very finish of this 150-lapper coming up. Your leader all race long, Bobby Bowser.
Yeah, this racetrack is stuck out in the middle of nowhere, but it's turned out to be a pretty good race. Here goes Bowser with the green flag. He gets a great jump on Rick Shepard. We'll have a green-white checkered finish to this one after that big accident on the front straightaway. The green is out. Bowser has this race in hand, but who's going to finish second?
Nobody going to touch Bobby Bowser in the Quality Farm and Fleet Ford, Ray. 139th start. This is going to be his 14th win. He's got to hold on for one more lap. The white flag is out.
The white flag in the air for Bowser. A fight for second place now as Rick Shepard and Harris Devane battle on the racetrack. Here comes Bowser down for the checkered flag this time. The Marflex Systems 150 will go to Bobby Bowser, and second place will be Shepard. Shepard just ahead of number 33, Harris Devane.
Well, a good run for Bobby Bowser again. 14th career victory on this series since 1988. Running down the finish order, Tim Steele, C.J. Vaughn, George Glick, Rick Houck went out early, and Mark Gibson, you saw him sitting on the racetrack. Tough break for him. That's 21st through 25th finishers here in the SK Tools field summary.
Steele posted as 25th, although he did not start the race. Robbie Pyle was in that big accident over in the turn. Frank Kimmel's Papa John's Pizza hit turn number 4 wall. Kurt Dickey also involved in an accident. And look at this, Bob Schacht and Roger Blackstock, everybody on that page crashed out of this race.
15th position, Chet Blanton. 14th, Bob Dodds. Jody Guerra, tough break for the local driver from Dayton, Ohio. Dill Whittemore also went out in the same accident with Jody Guerra. Donnie LeDuc will finish 11th in the Tech 3 Prototypes Oldsmobile, but points chaser Dill Whittemore, tough break for 12th place finish here today.
Looking at the top 10, Glenn Brewer posts a 10 in car number 10. Perry Tripp in the WW Transport entry. Bob Hill and Larry Clements Mack Truck Chevrolet number 46. Marvin Smith, that beautiful orange Riverside Chevrolet, is 7th. And posted in 6th, a great finish tonight for Mike Buckley from Ann Arbor, Michigan, in the Enterprise Technical Services Pontiac number 48.
That's for sure Mike Buckley's best career finish on this ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde series. Andy Hillenberg in the Fast Track Driving School Olds comes back to finish 5th, and that's what's going to make him a point championship contender. Two-time 1995 winner Eric Smith is 4th in the Southtown Motorsports Ford. Harris Devane brings C.L. Jones's Highland Timber Ford home 3rd. Rick Shepard matches his best career finish in the Shepard Motor Sales, car number 12. And here's your race winner, Bobby Bowser, Springfield, Ohio, a local driver. There's his beautiful daughter, Brittany. He's in Victory Lane. We're going to go down and talk to him right now with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bobby Bowser in Victory Lane here at the Marflex 150 at Shady Bowl Speedway. 1995 certainly started off a rough way for you, but it's starting to come around.
Well, especially with the car up on our top. But, you know, we got the Quality Farm Fleet Ford Thunderbird running pretty good, and it's been kind of a roller coaster year, but we're starting to turn around, and hopefully we won't run out of time here by November.
It was a roller coaster year so far, but what a roller coaster race we had tonight. What a lot of traffic out there for you.
It really was. The lap traffic was kind of bad, but, you know, we got through it all right. The end was kind of hectic, but, you know, we just stayed out front, and that's all we need to do.
You got a little someone special sitting here enjoying Victory Lane with you, don't you?
Yeah, that's my lucky charm. That's my pride and joy right there.
Brittany, tell me right now, who's your favorite race car driver?
Daddy.
All right. Once again, Bobby Bowser in Victory Lane here in the Marflex 150 from Shady Bowl.
I bet she votes for Bobby Bowser as the Quality Clutch's most popular driver, Ray. Bobby Bowser picks up the AC Rapid Fire Spark Plug bonus, second time this season. And what's significant about that pole and win bonus, he's got 2 of them. The driver with the most on the season picks up a $10,000 bonus at the year-end awards banquet. So earlier tonight, we see Andy Hillenberg struggling with chassis and suspension problems. Sparking, he comes from 4 laps down, gets back up to 2 laps down, finishes 5th on the night here on this brand new asphalt pavement at Shady Bowl Speedway. We saw Robbie Pyle with a heavy crash down between turns 1 and 2 in Jerry Lawrence's Chrysler. A lot of speedy dry put down, and we had significant cleanup. Later in the event, we saw Jody Guerra suffer problems from that speedy dry. Frank Kimmel with a great run early on, runs up to 2nd position. Unfortunately, sticks the Papa John's Pizza Olds in the fence down there in turn 2. You see him pulling off the fence. That's the end of his day. Another tough break for the Terry Shirley team. Frank Kimmel credited with an 18th place finish. This accident happening just past halfway. Speaking of accidents, look at Rick Shepard and Mike Buckley get sideways in front of the whole field. Who could forget this big one?
Shepard was fighting for a 2nd or 3rd place position with Harris Devane right there. We see in slow motion Dill Whittemore on his way to the infield, but unfortunately he brings the car back up onto the racetrack, and Perry Tripp just about gets slowed down here as Jody Guerra slams his number 13 into 56, the big accident tonight here at Shady Bowl. For Ron Drager, I'm Ray Dunlap. Certainly thank you for joining us on tonight's broadcast, and a big thank you to Continental Cablevision bringing you the television pictures tonight. From Shady Bowl, we'll see you next time at the ARCA Bondo Mar-Hyde Supercar Series races.